Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's January, happy 2018 to all of you. And I finally sorted out the sound of my video. Apologies for the last video. For some reason there's an issue with recording, the sound does not come out. Does not pick up properly as it was before, so I'm having to use like a kind of microphone thing to get the sound to work. Not very technical. So I'm hoping that this is a lot clearer and you can hear me. You don't have to turn up your volume so high. I am in the process of getting a new camera anyway, so that you can actually hear me and see me a bit clearer. But anyway, so today I wanted to talk about something that every trans woman and man, I'm sure, goes through their life and probably will continue to go through their life. Well, definitely for the rest of my lifetime, I would think anyway, unfortunately. And that is people talking and looking at you in public and learning to deal with it. Now, I would definitely say that for the majority of the time, people don't really look at me. Maybe just because I'm tall, I'm 6 foot, so maybe they look at me for that reason. But as far as me being trans, I don't usually get anyone spooking me. And for any of you, if any of you who don't understand what that means, it just means for people realizing that you're a trans woman. I generally don't really get that happen that often. Even when I was younger, it didn't really happen too often. I think it's a confidence thing as well as how you look, and I just was quite confident as a woman, so I didn't really draw any attention to myself in that respect. But I'm not really talking about that today. What I'm talking about today is other people around us when we're out in public, and by that I mean I've had so many times when someone knows you're trans or they realize you're trans, and instead of just letting you get on with your day and ignoring that, what they do is they will continually stare at you. If they're with their partner, they will try and tell their partner that you're trans. Or they probably don't even say that, they probably just say that that's a man. And then, of course, the other person tries to have a look at you without you noticing. And when I was younger, I would kind of pretend that I didn't know what was going on and just ignore it because, I didn't want them to know that I knew because it was embarrassing. But now, at the moment, in my present life, I'm a much more confident person. I've learned how to deal with that kind of thing. And I've found personally that the best way to stop this from happening, I'm not a violent person or a confrontational person, just in the regards of that I don't like that kind of side of my personality. I don't think it's very ladylike even to scream and shout at people. So I don't do it unless it's a very severe situation, of course. But so what I find that works really, really well, girls, obviously girls and guys who are trans, but I'm just talking to the girls because I'm a trans woman. Um, I always have to say that because I don't want people to get offended or upset, and that's never my intention for any of my videos. The best thing I found that works to stop people giving you funny looks and staring at you is to stare them out back. Is to do what they're doing to you back at them. So if I'm aware that people are looking at me strangely, because I've had it happen to me when I've had people standing right in front of me on the tube before when it's a packed tube, and I can tell people are looking at me or laughing or that kind of thing, is I stare them out. Even if I'm standing this close to them, I start looking them in the eyes and I do not stop looking at them. So every time they glance at me, I'm staring at them. They suddenly get very uncomfortable and self-conscious, which is what they're doing to you, and they suddenly realize that how much they don't like it. And even if it doesn't make them realize that you're doing back to them what they were doing to you, because some people are so ignorant, they don't realize that they're intimidating you or making you feel uncomfortable, but by the way they're staring at you. Some people don't realize that, and it is out of ignorance. Even if that's not the reason, even if they don't figure out that that's what you're doing back to them, they will stop doing it because they feel uncomfortable and they don't want to feel uncomfortable in somebody else's presence, because nobody does. I definitely don't. And I've learned that that always works. It's always worked because if you have the confidence to do that back, you're kind of saying, yes, I'm aware of what you're doing and I don't care because I'm quite comfortable and happy in the person that I am. So I do not need your negativity around me. Now, obviously, if it's a big group of people and you are intimidated, then that is going to be a lot more difficult. Personally, I'm one of those people that even if it is a big group of people and there's far more of them than there is of me, I will still do it because it makes me so angry that people think that they have the right to do this, that it takes away the fear or the worry from me. I may still be nervous inside, but I refuse to let other people make me feel like I'm not allowed to be who I am, or I'm not allowed to be on the train with them, or I'm stupid, or I look like an idiot because they do not agree with the way that I live my life, or for whatever the reason is, or even if they just it's something that they feel that is funny or that they can make fun of. Trans people still seem to be the butt of people's jokes at the moment. In television shows and stuff, even down to the smallest example of, a man wearing a dress on a comedy show is funny. It all goes back. It all adds to the trans thing of people finding us a joke or finding it funny, because a man wearing a woman's dress or women's shoes or makeup and that is still classed as something to laugh at. As far away from being trans as that is, and it's just, men wearing makeup and stuff, it is still connected in some way. And so, the more that trans people ourselves can make it very clear to other people that the way that they behave around us is not acceptable, the quicker people will start changing the way they are towards people in public. We've already seen it happening for gay and lesbian people, where people are much more comfortable with gay and lesbian people around them in public, and if they see two men holding hands or two women holding hands, most people don't have a problem with it, and even if they do, they'll keep it to themselves. Unfortunately, at the moment, still on the trans side of things, people still will laugh and make it, and they don't care if you see them laughing at you. Because it's still not. A lot of people just still don't see us as real people, or something that is a real part of some people's lives. Some people still think it's a choice, and some people still think that we choose to live our life like this for attention, or because we're trying to be something that we're not. It's very difficult to get people to understand where you are coming from in your head when they do not feel the same way that you do, unfortunately. And of course, unfortunately, the majority of people who do who are able to empathize with people who are different or a minority are people also who are another minority, funny enough, because people from minorities are aware of what it's like to be judged and criticized and looked at or poked, or so we are a lot more understanding of other people and other cultures and other religions and all of that kind of stuff. People who are not People who don't have to worry about those kind of things are usually a lot more judgmental. Now, of course, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that all people are like that. I'm just saying from my experience and these are just my opinion from my experiences. Okay, so obviously, I'm not labeling everybody as the same thing. And at the same time, there are trans women who have problems with gay men or have problems with drag queens. The same as there are gay men who have issues with trans women. I felt uncomfortable around gay people before. So it happens in all aspects of life and all types of people. There are always going to be people in all walks of life who have an issue with other people. And the only way I feel you can get around this is to not tolerate it by anybody. And by not tolerating it, making it very clear to the other person that you're aware of what they're doing and you're not going to allow them to intimidate you. That, for me, I found works the best way. It's non-verbal, it's not aggressive, it's not intimidating to them, it's just making them feel uncomfortable because you're making them very aware suddenly that what they're doing to you, you're doing right back to them. So, girls, that is just a bit of advice from me. I hope that it helps. Try it when you're out. If you do struggle when you're out in public and it's something that you do get uncomfortable or stressed about traveling in public and worrying about people spooking you, then try it out. I honestly, you may be nervous and a bit shaky from doing it for the first time, but I honestly can tell you that after you do it and it does actually work and you're aware that it's working, you feel so empowered afterwards, because it gives you a bit of self-respect, and stops you making you feel like you're nothing and you're worthless, because those kind of experiences do make you feel like that. They've definitely done that to me, where I kind of just feel worthless and ridiculous and almost a freak sometimes. Those thoughts have gone through my head when people have done that, because they're belittling you and they're making you feel small and insignificant. And we are all equal and we all deserve to be wherever we are at that particular time. I deserve to be on the train like everybody else. I pay my fare. I deserve a seat. I deserve to stand wherever it is I'm doing. I deserve the same equality as everybody else who is there. And I don't have to stand on a train and be made to feel like I don't belong. So it is in your best interest to protect yourself and make it clear to other people that you deserve to be where you are. Okay, that is my gift to you today. I hope that it helps. I hope for any of you who have not tried that before, do give it a try. Let me know if it works for you. As I said, I'm not talking about being aggressive or rude to people when there's no need to be. I'm just talking about making it very clear to them that you're not intimidated by them. Have a really good day, everyone. Lots of love. Take care.